And as usual, I use the term ever so loosely. Carburetors. These are going to be for the, one of these is going to be for the 69 Project Chopper. I have found that the worst possible time to work on a carburetor is when it's the last thing to put on the bike before you need to get the bike running. So the bike's got a ways to go before it's time to fire it up, so we're going to take a look at these little bastards and try to figure out whether any one of them is worth using or not. This particular owner provided me with 4 Keans and a Mikuni. Mikuni flat side. I kind of wanted to use this one because I've never put a flat side mic on anything. And I kind of wanted to see how it would work. This one, unfortunately, has got some issues. Let's pull the bowl off real quick. Whoops. And there's one of the issues right there. And another issue. And another issue. This one, you get it up in front of the camera so you can see real good. This one, the ears to which the float bowl mount, one of them has been broken off. And, well, you can't, my fat fingers are too big. Let's see. There you go. That kind of tells you. Anyway, one of the ears has been broken off. It looks like somebody actually tried to weld it. Anyway, I was thinking about trying to fix this one. Not going to happen. These carbs are just too sensitive, and you know how you're going to warp something, or you know, it just ain't going to be worth fixing. So this one is out of the question. If you like flat side mix and you need a carb for parts, this one's going to be for sale on eBay. Starting bid is going to be 99 cents. So, you know, I don't know whether it's worth anything, whether it's not worth anything, whether it's worth fucking around with or not. Well, I think it's not worth fucking around with, but you know, who knows? You got one of these things, you need some parts, might be worth having, I don't know. It's one step away from my scrap aluminum pile. Mikuni, no good. Then we got these 3 Keans. And this one was the one I was originally thinking would be good, because somebody wrote on it, a little glare on there, you can't see it, works good, July 2008. Well, July 2008 was a long time ago. Since then, parts have disappeared off of it. This one has an adjustable main jet put in. I don't know who put that in. I don't know if they knew what they were doing or what. You know, don't know whether it's in the right place or not. When I stumbled upon this one, I thought, well, that works good, 2008. It's only 12 years ago. That might be the carb to go with. But then I noticed the accelerator pump was gone. Then I noticed the adjustable main jet thing, which is, you know, they didn't come with that. That was something somebody added on. So, you know, I don't know if they got the holes drilled in the right place, whether it lines up right, whether it worked good before that was put on, but not after it was put on. I mean, there's a reason it's in a junk pile. So accelerator pump missing, float bowl missing, needle missing, high-low speed jets are both missing. You know, all that stuff is replaceable, but the adjustable main jet is what is primarily cashing this one in for me. You know, I don't know whether that is a good setup or not on these things. I don't know what the installation procedure is on them, so I ain't going to use it. It's just too many unknowns. So we're down to, and this one also will be for sale on eBay. You know, do with it what you want. It's probably going to have a starting bid 99 cents. So for all intents and purposes, practically free. So another one, like dust. We got 3 Keans left. The next one I looked at that I kind of was thinking about using was this guy here. It's all there. It's reasonably clean. The throttle works. Boy, that's a stiff spring on that one. I was thinking about using this one, but when I got to poking around with it, the idle mixture adjustment screw is a straight slotted screw, and the slots were sheared off. So the head of the screw is basically flat. I was able to drill it out and extract it with an easy out, but I'm just concerned that the needle seat wasn't jackamoed when the needle was screwed in, you know. So I'm crossing this one off of this short list. This says it's an 85. I think this would be a Big Twin bike, Evo Big Twin bike. The first Evo Sportster was 86. And I'm thinking this was an Evo because it had a vacuum port here and another vacuum port here. I'm not sure why there's two. Anyway, cross this one off. So we're down to two. Of the two that are left, this one looks a little cleaner than this one. This one looks like it's had maybe a little carb fire, for sure, a lot of backfiring out of there. So let's take these apart and take a look at them and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, of the two carbs that are left, this guy was the dirtier one of the two. I took a magic marker, a Sharpie, and I blackened this flange over here because it looks really warped to me down in here, and there's what looks like there might be a crack right there actually. So I'm going to walk this over to my surface plate, give it a little smoothing up on the flange side over there, and I'll bring it back to you to see what we see. Okay, so here is the one of the last two that was left, the one that was dirtiest on the inside, and the one I took over to the surface plate to flatten off. And see if I can make it so you could see this. Well, first off, let me get over here. You can see it's not flat by a long shot. I'm sure I can make it flat, but that's not the major part of the problem. The major part of the problem looks like this thing has got a little crack right here. And then over on the other side, it looks like there maybe is a little crack right there. So anyway, this one's out of use. Leaves us with one left. I'm hoping this bastard holds up to inspection. So let's take it apart and see what we got. Got a little visitor in the garage. See if you can see him. There he is. There we go. Yeah, I live in Texas. I got geckos and gizzards all over the place. Hope this little bastard is smart enough to run outside before he gets stepped on or squished. See ya. Bye, guy. Alright, kind of interesting. Went from 5 carburetors that might be good to 4 carburetors that are probably definitely no good, and 1 carburetor that might be good. I don't like cans. I think that they reach a point where they just don't work right anymore, and no matter what you do to them, you can't make them work right anymore. I've screwed with them a lot over the years. You know, clean them up, put jets in them, set the float. You do all kinds of bullshit to them, and they just don't work right after a while. And I suppose some people would say they don't work right from the get-go. I don't know what year this one is off of. Don't know whether it was off of a Sportster or Big Twin. It looks pretty low miles though. I mean, it's clean, not crusted with shit. All these screws are loose, so obviously somebody's been in this thing before. I think I got a rebuild kit laying around. Let's take this off. Our accelerator pump looks brand new. It is brand new. I don't think this has ever been run. The accelerator pump nozzle looks like it's been bent. It's got a 165 main in it, which is probably going to be okay, more or less. Let's pull the float off. Okay. Boy, that needle is bright and shiny. That looks like it's brand new. Choke works okay. A lot of these, the spring gets sticked up over here. And the spring, when you go to start the motor, and there's a lot of vacuum, this spring puts just a little tension on it to keep the choke plate closed, but enough to let it open. You know, just a little resistance, so it'll pop open so you won't totally flood the motor. That looks okay. I don't see any deal breakers in this so far. I don't know what year this is, and I can tell you that it's a push me pull me, so it's somewhat newer. I think that makes it after, I don't know what, 77, 79, somewhere in there. They started putting push me pull me's on there. It probably had the plug in it, so you couldn't adjust the idle screw. Let's take the idle screw out and see what kind of shape it's in. It looks okay. I believe there's supposed to be a steel washer, a rubber O-ring, and then the spring to seal this up, the shaft up. So it's missing a couple little parts. We're going to have to shag down. Once again, I don't know why this bike would have the two vacuum ports on it. One of them runs, well, one of them probably ran a vacuum switch. I don't know what the other one's for. I don't know. So on this bike, these will both get plugged. It had a push me pull me throttle, but somebody put a single pull on it. This bike has got a push me pull me throttle handle I'm going to use. So I'm going to change this out and put the double on there, so you might as well take it off. Let's see if the low speed comes out. There we go. Oh, it ain't even tight. So this one is, I can't read. Let me get a magnifying glass. Looks like maybe a 050. So you got an 050 on the idle and a 165 on the main, which are actually pretty close to the right size. And this is interesting. There's an O-ring here. I think this is the O-ring that was supposed to have been around the adjustment needle, because the low-speed jet doesn't have an O-ring on it. At least none of the ones I've ever taken apart, and I've only taken apart 100 of them probably. Let's see. The emulsion tube should come out with minimal force. Let's see. And it doesn't. Let me get it easy out. Yeah, the emulsion tube should come out. Sometimes they don't. Hopefully I could cajole it. You don't want to really bear down on it or you'll fuck it up. Ah, Jesus. Well, I'd really like that to come out of there, just because of the crud and corrosion that could be behind there. Ah, there it goes. Oh yeah, shit. This is why I took it out. Look at that thing. Would never have worked if we didn't take it out and clean it. The easy out probably raised a few burrs inside here, but nothing that can't be fairly easily dealt with. Good deal. Let's see if I could spot anything down inside there. Yeah, I got a little crud and corrosion. I have to take something small tube. Not sure what I'm going to use in there, but something, a little carb cleaner, blow it out. Maybe a little fine brush. Okay, so we're going to break this off and pull the brass nipple out of there and replace it with something screwed in. We're going to clean off the outside real good, douche it down. I may pull some emulsion tubes out of the other carbs just to see if they're any better than this one was. Okay. All right. Going to give you all a heart attack now. These guys. They're overmolded a brass fitting that is pressed into the carb body. They crack, they split. You can buy new ones of these, pull the old one out and push the new ones in. I don't like plastic fuel line fittings. I mean, yeah, I know it's connected to a rubber hose, so what difference does it make? But I just don't like these. This one has a little damage right here. I don't know whether it leaks or not. It looks like it probably is okay, but I just don't like it, so we're going to get rid of it. Anyway, here comes the part where people get heart attacks. To get rid of it, I'm going to, of course, destroy it. And the way I get rid of them is like this. I grab the fitting in a vise, tighten the living hell out of it, grab the carb, and this one, okay, alright, the plastic is spinning on the brass. I'll just break it off all the way. Now I have, and now you can see that I have the brass nipple underneath there is what's left. We're going to get rid of that though. So put it back in the vise, tighten the hell out of it, crush it flat pretty much. See, it doesn't want to move yet. Let's get another bite on it. Ooh, it does not want to move still. There it goes. Uh-oh. That's bad news. Let's see if there's enough of it left. It started moving. Yeah. Ooh, a little more crumbles off. Uh-oh. Ooh, we're in bad shape on this one. Bad shape. See if I can get just a little more here. Ever since I gave up drugs and alcohol, the clean living has paid off. Let me tell you. Just enough of it was left, and it was just loose enough. Boop, out she comes. Good deal. All right, so here's what we're left with. We'll tap this hole out for a 1/8 NPT pipe thread plug, and this will be good to go. Okay, back to carefully rebuilding this carburetor. So the inlet is out of there. One of the reasons I like to get that out of there too is because, that inlet was an elbow, so you can't see down through it. But now that this is open, I can now see the back side of the float needle seat. And I have seen pieces of shit get stuck in there. So, sometimes it's worth getting it out. The hole, I drilled out slightly according to my tapping chart. 1/8 NPT takes a 21/64 hole. So I drilled it to 21/64. And you're also supposed to ream them. Although I don't have a pipe thread reamer, so maybe I do, but I'm not gonna ream it because I could get by without it anyway. It'll work. Of course, getting the tap in straight is always a challenge. Looks like it's going in good. Feels good. Oh yeah. All right, we got it. Let's get a 1/8 NPT fitting and stick it in there. Okay, we're sticking it in there just to test the threads. Okay, here's a 1/8 NPT fitting, and you see it barely goes in one thread. So we need to make these threads deeper and wider. Still barely threads in. I'm getting a little concerned because the threads are just about bottomed out in the hole. I got 2 or 3 of these taps. I'm gonna go see if I got one that's a little wider. Okay, that's the one we started out with. Let's try. No, this is the one I started out with. Let's try this guy. This one looks a little fatter. Yeah, that one's not going in as far. That may be fatter. All right, that feels good. We're going to call that good right here. Obviously, if we're going to do something like this, you need to be confident in your skills because you crack this or split this, you will ruin a carburetor. These things are fairly cheap on eBay, but nonetheless, you don't want to be destroying parts. You don't want to be destroying parts. So make sure you're confident in your abilities before you crush the brass nipple flat in a vise and try to pry it out and then drill and tap that hole. You don't want to be wasting carburetors. So this thing, at this point, is almost ready to go back together again. I want to close the throttle all the way by backing the adjustment screw out. And you see, here's a problem with this, is you could see daylight. You could see daylight around the bore. So the throttle plate, even with the idle adjustment screw backed out all the way, is not closing all the way. So it's not fitting correctly inside there. The way to fix that is to loosen these screws a little bit. And that will allow the plate to shift around in there. And indeed, this one shifted just enough by doing that it now closes all the way correctly. The edges of the throttle plate are not perpendicular to the plate. They're cut at an angle so as to nicely seal off when it's shut all the way. So you want to check that. The ability of the plate to seat squarely in the hole affects your ability to be able to precisely adjust the idle. If the plate doesn't fit squarely in the hole and close all the way, it will never return to the same spot when you let the throttle off, and your idle speed will not be consistent. You won't be able to set it consistently. So you should always check this. This is pretty much standard practice for any carburetor. So check and make sure your throttle plate seats all the way. Anyway, some people take these off all the way and put a drop of Loctite on them. I could see these screws have never been out of the carb because from the factory the backside is peened over so they won't fall out. So all I did was loosen them just like a half a turn, and now I'll tighten them back up again. And there you go. All right, good to go. Hey, this video was getting kind of long, so I decided to break it into 2 parts. Tune in to part 2 to see final assembly of this particular carburetor. In the meantime, I am out of here. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.